this moment. Welcome, thank you so much all of those of you that have come out on what is a particularly cold and unwelcoming December evening. What is looking to be a really, really exciting night. So great to see some familiar faces returning, and welcome to those people that this is the first time that they've come along to Cafe Sci. For those of you that don't know us, it's a group of us at Bournemouth University with colleagues from elsewhere, it's probably the best way to describe them, who organise a monthly event. So I'm Becca, Naomi, Harry, Emily. We clearly do remember the Christmas jumpers. These guys have done a great job. For those of you that know our format well, we're actually having a slightly different sort of evening tonight. In that we're going to be a lot more hands-on. So you've already seen some sort of intriguing activities that are already spread throughout the room. So how it's going to work tonight is we're going to have a short talk, about 15 minutes or so, something like that. And you can see my lovely colleagues, who I'll introduce formally in a moment, will be kind of raring to go to sort of move around. There'll also be some activities going up on the screen, because I'm conscious that we're quite tight on space tonight, so it can be quite tricky to sort of move around, so bear with us as we do our best. There should be sort of lots going on. The usual house rules apply in terms of CAFSI. There's no such thing as a silly question, so feel free to ask us anything. We just may not know the answer, and we just hand it together. And in terms of kind of social media, please do help us spread the word. So do like us on Facebook. We also have interact with us on Twitter at CAFSI Bournemouth. #CAFSI apparently if you search on Facebook for the Bournemouth University Forensic Society, you can also find the guys there, so do feel free to like them and tell us what you think. We will be taking some photographs this evening, so if you don't want to appear in any photographs, let us know and we'll make sure that you don't. We're also videoing, so that if you want to catch up on any of tonight's proceedings, you can do. Also just wanted to say an enormous thank you to Cafe Boscanova, who once again are hosting us. I've opened up specially for this evening, so do please show your support and get kind of food and drinks when you can actually get to the bar, which I appreciate can be a little bit tricky. Now to sort of introduce our group, let's say it's a bit of a different. Those of us that have been to lots of CAFSI events are sort of used to some of our eminent professors or some of the leading researchers that kind of come along and help sort of share what they do. But I'm really, really excited tonight because it's actually Bournemouth University's Forensic Society. Where I think you're all undergraduates or a mixture. So all undergraduates who are really, really passionate, enthusiastic about forensics, obviously, who actually kind of go out and engage lots of people in terms of sharing that passion. So without further ado, because I think there's all sorts of mystery and intrigue about this evening, I'll hand you over, but let's give everyone a really warm welcome.
Hi guys, we're Forensic Society, Bournemouth University Forensic Society. We're all undergraduate students at Bournemouth's, it's going well, School of Applied Sciences. We've also got with us tonight Dominic. He owns all the equipment that you've got out, very kindly provided us with it. So yeah, tonight is just a very brief introduction to what happens at a crime scene. We've got an hour and a half, that's not really enough to scratch the surface, but it's more going to be fun. It's got a little bit of a Christmas theme to it. So, I'm going to start you off with your briefing. There's been a crime. Okay, last year, 7:46 a.m. on the 14th of December 2013, a 999 call was made to report a suspected burglary. And the living room was found in a state of disarray. So our missing items include a television, a Blu-ray player, Xbox 360, and all of the Christmas presents in the living room, as well as a bag of carrots from the kitchen. So there were no signs of forced entry, so we've got no possible point of entry there. And it's suspected to be linked to other incidents that have happened on the night in various locations. Okay, so at an actual crime scene, the team you're going to find are the crime scene manager, and they obviously manage the crime scene, but they are also a liaison to the police. are volume CSIs, who are sort of entry level, so, crime scene investigators. They go to things like burglaries, vehicle crime, and maybe minor assaults. Then once you've been in business for about 4 years, you can move up to be a regular CSI, who attends any crime scene. And when you get to a crime scene, you'll be assigned to be a photographer, or maybe a photographer's scribe, who are the first people who go into a crime scene. Okay, are you ready? PPE, as I'm sure we're all aware, is personal protective equipment. Avert your eyes, do I? As you can see, everything's covered. Hairnet, which we're using our hoods for today. Face mask. Scene suit, which is actually a lot thicker in real crime scenes. Lucky us. Gloves and shoe covers. Can you get your There we go. Very nice. What we're not doing is this. That's from CSI. Yeah, that's not how you go into a crime scene. No one goes into a crime scene without any PPE on. It just doesn't happen. I mean, it's to protect yourself and obviously prevent contamination to or from a crime scene. Okay. Now, cordons are obviously the areas that we've cordoned off as our crime scene. Out of cordons, in accordance, really depend on the area that you're in. If it occurred in a house, like this one did, then your outer cordon would probably be this whole street for a serious incident, and your inner cordon would just be the house the incident occurred. Now, in terms of who's allowed into cordons, in your outer cordons, police officers, the SIO, who's a senior investigating officer, are allowed in, but no members of the public or the press. Into your inner cordon, your crime scene managers, CSIs, volume CSIs, and any other forensic experts who might get called to the scene. That could be a ballistics expert, or a pathologist, or a coroner, if there's been more serious. Okay. So everyone who attends a crime scene has to do an NG11, which is a witness statement. If you've never done a witness statement before, it looks like this. That's my one there. On that, what you want to list is the time you arrived, the time you entered the crime scene, what you did, and down here is a list of all my exhibits that I took. More on that in a moment. Okay. So when we actually get in, once we've done our photography, and we start collecting evidence, this is what we do. Ah, what you do? That. Now, most things we put in an evidence bag, some things might be put in a box, but everything's going to be sealed very tightly and very hard to get into. If you do manage to get into it, which I'm not going to be able to do. There we go. That'll do.
Some scissors.
It says on the top there, stop. Just in case you weren't aware you were doing anything wrong. So, yeah, they're not easy to get into. But if you do have to get into it, for whatever reason, fingerprint it, or test it for anything, then you're probably going to cut along the bottom. And when you do that, down here, it's got a little continuity record. And that has to be filled in. Because if any problems with continuity are found, you might as well just chuck that away. And it will not stand up in court. Okay, so at our crime scene we've got 4 different types of evidence. First one's bite mark. Do we have the carrot anywhere? Oh, okay. We have a carrot somewhere.
You ate the rest of it.
That's next. Yeah, a carrot with what appears to be a bite taken out of it, found on the driveway at the front of the house. So before anything else, this mark needs to be extensively photographed, as with everything. Saliva sample can be taken, and DNA may or may not be found from that. And then a cast or a mould can be made of it. Now, bite marks at burglaries are probably less common than they are at other crimes. But in a lot of more serious crimes, you might find a bite mark in flesh. Now that's much more difficult to do anything with, but there are some very, very clever people who can make a DNA model of someone's teeth from a bite mark. It's clear enough. So, right. Okay, next one is trace evidence. I have a red fibre found hanging from a Christmas tree and short dark hair found on the floor near the fireplace. Now, one of the pioneers of forensic science, a guy called Edmond Locard, who's French, and he came up with something called his exchange principle. And the main gist of that is every contact leaves a trace. Everything. So trace evidence you are very, very likely to find at a crime scene, and it's nailed quite a few suspects in the past. So, clothing fibres can either be natural or synthetic. Difficult to get a positive ID with just a fibre on its own, but you can compare colour, diameter, material to something that you might find on a suspect's clothes from one found at the crime scene. You can use whatever that word is to, I've really tried saying it, but I'm afraid I can't, to pass through wavelengths, light wavelengths through the sample. That tells you what nature and colour it is. And then gas chromatography, and that's going to stay the chemical composition, but you're going to have to do that last because that will destroy it. Okay. Now, along with this very satisfying diagram, we've got hairs. We found one hair at the crime scene under a microscope. That's sort of what it will look like. Made up of a cortex, a medulla, and a cuticle. The cuticles are quite useful for identifying species, medulla for identifying race within the human species. Human hair, the medullas make up about a third, and animal hair will make up about half, so that's an easy way to tell straight away what kind of hair it is. Here we go. Sorry. Okay, so the next two bits of evidence we have on Google and background of glass, we will hopefully find fingerprints on. So the fingerprints table, I'm thinking of those ones, and that one. So if you're interested in that, head towards that section. We also have footprint found. So we can make a class of that. That's that. And we've got a couple more of those boxes you can make your own casts of your own footwear. And a microscope up here to go through trace. So Steph and Kelsey will be up the back doing footwear. Veronica, Dominic and Laura will be on these tables having a fingerprint. There you go. Solve that crime. You going to go help these guys? Okay, my assistants will be with you.
There are 3 different types of fingerprint activities. Fluorescent, kinetic, and black. So coloured fingerprints, just a standard. It depends on the background first of all. So for example, the fluorescent aren't used with this hair, so we actually use many you're not going to fluorescent just looks not when it's and it show you pictures. Yeah. I mean, if you don't want to